So here's Clifford. I've not been ignoring it. It's just been sitting here. I've been working on other things. I've got a boat project I'm working on. I've got a shed I'm turning into a tiny house. Anyway, I want to get this one going again. This Saturday there's a parade, and Clifford wants to be in the parade. It's a Christmas parade. Clifford's red. That's half the battle. Anyway, I'm going to get the rear end changed out. I got a whole new parts mower. I picked up this LT1000 for $50 just because I need the rear end. It is a 6-speed. I'm going to pop that rear end out. We're going to put it into Clifford. In my shed where I usually do these swaps is a wood shop right now because I'm working on the shed. There's a boat motor hanging here because I'm working on the boat. I guess we're going to change that rear end out in the yard. Find a shade tree somewhere. It's probably been a good month. Let's see how Clifford does with cold starts. Other than the rear end, it's ready to rip. So there is no engine on this one, but it does have a battery. It's a 3.5-year-old battery. Let's see if we can recondition it. And if you're wondering how exactly do you recondition a battery, I put my battery charger on. It's at 8.8 volts. I hit this button right here called recondition. This should be quick and straightforward. The only thing is if the wheels are rusted onto the axles, you gotta start with those little dust boots. My trick is I take a paint can opener, I bend it a little bit, and that makes it a little bit easier to pull them off. So I just popped the rear end out. I took this wheel off first because it looked the most rusty. This one looked cleaner, so it should be easier. That one was not that bad. Anyway, it's 4 bolts, 2 here, 2 there. There's 2 brackets, 1 here, 1 there. There's a shifter, and then you got to pull a pin and pull out the brake lever. I got to clean it up, get this other wheel off, pull that one out. Now the hardest part might be getting that pulley off. Maybe it won't be too bad. So sure enough, that second wheel came off real easy, even though it was a little rusty and it was dry. It came right off. Now I've got some PB blaster, so I kind of got to go find my snap ring pliers. Battery check after about an hour, still in repairs. So drilling out these 2 holes, I'm gonna use these bolts in my puller. I don't want to hit it too many times and break it. So the big pulley is off. There's the rear end. Over on this one, I took the tires and wheels off. I've got these bolts loose. I got these brackets loose. I got the shifter off. I gotta go find my Allen wrenches and get the 2 Allens that go onto the shaft. I gotta go loosen those, and maybe the pulley system can stay in place, and we'll just slide the other rear end in there. So the rear end is out of Clifford. Here is that rear end. Let's look at it in just a second. I've got to get the hubs off of it, put on this one. This one I just put some more oil in it. We have to cut off the input shaft. It's ready to put in. And on this one, if we look down, there's a hole right here. That must have been locker failure. If we flip it over, there's a hole right there. I don't know what caused that one. Anyway, this new one's not going to be locked. I'm going to put it in. We're just going to go. So I just cut off the input shaft and I washed the transmission. It's ready now to lift into place. The rear end is in place. I've got everything tight. The only modification, I had to cut this off. It was hitting this brace, and we may have to adjust the shifter. Other than that, tires and wheels, and we're ready to ride. The rear end is all the way in. Tires are back on. I'm gonna do a test drive. I'm guessing I probably have to adjust the shifter. Other than that, it should be ready to ride. So right now there's no reverse. Let's adjust it and see if we can find some reverse. So the bad news is the adjustment is all the way forward. I don't know if we're gonna make this work or not. Let's see if that gives us reverse. Well done. It is test drive time, and since it has no lights, I brought it to where the lights are, and there's also asphalt. So I'll let this battery cook all night. It now says 100%, 12.7 volts. We're gonna test it out. That Duracell should work. It is almost parade time. Clifford's all decked out. So I'm down at the river now. The sand, there's a whole bunch of sand. This is the hill the Subaru climbed the other day, and if you look at the river, it's really low. I'll try to find a better angle. So if you look at the river, you can see that sandbar. You could drive on that sandbar real easy, and probably right there get across to the Florida side. We're on the Georgia side now, but right up in this area, it gets dark. I don't know how deep that is, and this is December. That water's gonna be cold. I'm here by myself. I don't really want to risk it by myself. OG Poland has crossed it before. Clifford wants to, but I don't know how deep that is. We'll probably just stick the plane in the sand. So the rear end that broke was a posi, that's why it broke. Anyway, this one is a one-legger. It should be fine in the sand. Let's go figure it out. This is the steepest hill here. Let's try it with the non-posi rear end. So the rear end's acting like it's locked up. This may be more of a recovery video than playing in the sand. I'm not exactly sure what happened. The input shaft is locked up. That's in neutral with the clutch mashed. At least we can still roll it. I can't spin it. I guess I'll try first gear. 22 horsepower might spin it. Probably not. So I have the Subaru close. I just came through all this thick sand. I'm gonna go look now exactly where do I need to back up to be as close as I can get to that mower. At least it's pushing downhill. So there is the mower, there is the trailer I'm gonna shoot for right here. So this is a compound issue. A, it's thick sand. B, it's uphill. C, you're backing through it. And D, you've got a trailer. Let's give it a shot. A second option, we could unhook the trailer. I could back the Subaru all the way up to here, pull the mower out. I don't have anybody to steer the mower. Let's try this. Put it in neutral. Action. More good news, I found a ticker toy. Let me know if you want me to send you a ticker toy. I feel like that was the hard part, but driving back through the thick sand uphill, that might be the fun part. So one more obstacle getting through all this thick sand and then we're homebound. And the good news, if we do get stranded, I picked up some candy on the side of the road after the parade. I've already been eating some of it. Let's go with Kit Kat. The good news is I've got a snatch rope and a shackle. There's no one here now, but eventually somebody would show up. I'm gonna try this with full air pressure. I'm not letting any air out. And I started to get a shovel, but I talked myself out of it. I said, you won't need it. I didn't bring it. We'll see. I'm just gonna leave you here. I'll walk back to get you. That would have been a good job for the follow me option on the drone.